The Fry Guys!
It is April 15th, 2014, and that means it's time for another edition of this BS podcast show. I'm your host, Brandon Fryer. You see, I didn't put the Fry Guy in between this because I put it in the top of the show. We're doing things a little different. I told you we're going to experiment. I got a team here, by the way. You know, I got my boy Mike here. Mike, what up?
What up, man? What up? You know, normally I don't talk, but hey, man. You know, I'm doing it for your show, man. You the homie, so might as well help you out.
Got Denea here. We got a great show for y'all. Man, we got so much to talk about. We're going to talk about the NBA season. It's over, and we're going to get into a little playoff preview, and we got the season review on that. I'm going to get my tool time on. I'm going to fix some leagues. If I was commissioner, I'm going to fix a couple of leagues and see if y'all like the adjustments to it. We also going to talk some NHL, and since I don't know much about the NHL, I got some help. I got interviews. I got 4 NHL writers by the name of Katie Strong, Joe McDonald, Craig Crunsten, and Pierre, LeBrun. I got them all. We're going to break down the NHL playoff and give you a little preview for that. We got Yo-ish, Play of the Game, Full of Bull. Halftime, we're going to talk about, you know, movies that don't deserve sequels. You know, we get a little out of bounds with that. Let's give you the starting lineup. Brandon Fry, the Fry Guy, hosts this BS podcast show. Southside, Frankfurt, Roseland, High Park. What's good? Columbia College, Shot State, Mount Carmel. Let's go.
Michael Howard, assistant producer, this BS podcast show, Illinois Broadcasting School, Pilsen area, West Side, North Side, South Side, Burbs. What's good?
Denea, part-time co-host, this BS podcast show, DePaul University, North Side. Hey, y'all.
I got the A-team here with me, man. It's feeling great, man. So before we get into anything, man, let's start you off with this BS update. You know, get you caught up in the news this week. And let's start off in boxing as Manny Pacquiao defeated Timothy Bradley in a rematch. So Manny Pacquiao regains his WBO welterweight title, and he won via unanimous decision. In swimming, Michael Phelps announced that he will return to competitive swimming. He's aiming for that 2016 Olympics. In golf, Bubba Watson wins the 2014 Masters. That's his second in the past 3 years. In baseball, there's a report that Rays pitcher Matt Moore has opted for Tommy John surgery. That means he's going to miss the rest of this season. In the NHL, the Bruins has officially clinched the President Trophy Cup. That is the first time they clinched that since the 1989-1990 season. In the NFL reportedly will release the schedules on April 22nd. So looking forward to that. Also, the NFL announced 2015 Pro Bowl in Arizona, and the 2016 Pro Bowl will go back to Hawaii. So they're changing that up a little bit. Eli Manning undergoes ankle surgery. He's going to be out for 6 weeks. The Giants is already working out quarterback Josh Freeman. The Jags signs Alex Mack, center for the Cleveland Browns, to an offer sheet, but the Browns reportedly will match it. The Packers re-sign their backup QB, Matt Flynn. The 49ers signed wide receiver Brandon Lloyd. Brandon Lloyd took a year off this previous year to pursue an acting career. And the 49ers are also getting into some legal trouble with some of their players. Has defensive player Alden Smith was arrested at LAX airport for bomb threats. And their quarterback, Colin Kaepernick, is being investigated for suspicious incident at a Miami hotel. Also, ex-NFL player Ocho Cinco is working out for the CFL League. In NCAA, Union hockey team wins its first national title over the Minnesota Gophers. The NCAA also approved unlimited meals for student athletes. So maybe you won't hear, Shabazz Napier talking about I go to bed hungry at night, even though he's going up to the NBA and get all the meals he wants. But good for the other student athletes. Mizzou dismissed wide receiver Darnell Green Beckham, who is projected as a top 15 pick in next year's draft. Also, Clemson's dismissed quarterbacks legend Jim Kelly's nephew from the team. Cuzzo Martin is hired as the new Cal head coach. Ex-Louisville player Kevin Ware, the guy who broke his leg 2 years ago on national TV, he will transfer from Louisville to Georgia State. UMass Derek Gordon comes out as being gay. He's the first player in Division I to come out as gay. It's some declaring for the NBA is going on, and Nick Stauskas, Glenn Robinson III is declared, Alex Kirk, Joe Embiid, Eric Gordon, Nick Johnson, Janelle Stokes, Jeremy Grant, and Michigan State's Gary Harris is all declared for the NBA. Some players announced they will be returning. Kentucky's Willie Cauley-Stein, and Harrell is going back to Louisville. In the WNBA, the Connecticut Suns had the number 1 pick in the 2014 WNBA draft, and they select Stanford forward Shanae Ogumilike. They also are going to trade Tina Charles, their center, who was the MVP like 2 years ago, to the New York Liberty. In the NBA, the Knicks and Lamar Odom are apparently close to a deal. It could be made before season end, which is only a game or 2 left. I don't understand that. Phil Jackson probably likes him. I don't know. And the playoff picture is pretty much set. Set for seeding. It's kind of set. But we know the teams is going to be in it because the Memphis Grizzlies defeated the Phoenix Suns, which officially eliminates them from the playoffs. And let's get into that and more as we're going to talk about our NBA playoff preview and season review in our first quarter. All right, let's talk some hoops, get into some NBA. Season's pretty much coming to an end. Playoffs about to start this weekend. So with that being said, I'm going to give out my awards. And I want to start off with Coach of the Year. I'm going to give it to Greg Popovich from the Spurs. The reason why? The Spurs are right now have the best record in the NBA. The way they're playing and the way they're managing, Pop is managing this team, it's unbelievable. Some of his star players are not even playing. Tim Duncan don't get that many minutes. Tony Parker doesn't. Ginobili doesn't. It's pretty much with the back end of the bench, who many used to be on other teams and were like scrubs. But Greg Popovich right now, I got him winning the Coach of the Year. And to find out that he only won it once and throughout his career is crazy. I feel like when you have the best team, the NBA kind of looks at those teams that was probably bad and they exceeded expectations. They already projected probably the Spurs are going to be good. They're going to be a good team. This is what the Spurs are supposed to do anyway. So I feel like that might hurt him of winning Coach of the Year, but I feel like he should win Coach of the Year. MVP. I've been stating this throughout this show since the NBA season started. Kevin Durant, to me, is the MVP. I mean, what else can I say? The man is just scoring. When Russell Westbrook is out, Kevin Durant steps in. And LeBron, the reason why I'm not giving LeBron, his defense kind of is not as strong as it used to be. Kevin Durant's defense is amped up, while LeBron looked like it took a step back, or it's just regular. It looked like he didn't step up this year, maybe because he was doing too much stuff on the offseason with all the commercials, and he deserves it because he wins the titles, but I'm giving it to Kevin Durant. Defensive Player of the Year, I'm happy to say this one. I'm giving it to Joakim Noah. I feel like he's going to be probably on there as first team All-NBA, but the way he stepped in since Luol Deng left, Joakim Noah has filled in that role of leadership, and he has led this team. They're most likely going to get the 3rd, 4th seed, and no one predicted that. People thought they was going to be out of the playoffs once they traded Luol Deng, and Joakim Noah really represents the city, the way he plays for the team. He puts his heart and soul on the floor every time. He deserves the Defensive Player of the Year. 6th man. I wanted to give it to Taj. It was close, but I'm trying not to be biased. I feel like he should get it. If he does get it, I wouldn't be shocked. But I'm going to give it to Jamal Crawford for the Los Angeles Clippers. He's been hurt. I feel like that's the only thing that's going to hurt him. But Jamal Crawford, to me, how the Clippers been playing, they actually took it up another notch. Most improved player, most people are going to say Lance Stevenson. But Lance Stevenson was playing like this at the end of last season in the playoffs. So I'm actually going to give it to Anthony Davis. I feel like he has arrived. He's going to be a top 5 NBA player for years to come. If the New Orleans Pelicans could just win some games, the thing now is, can he help lead? Can he be a leader? But him as an overall player, the man is balling. To me, I feel like he's the most improved player. From being a guy who's been injured the most last season and now coming in and just dominating, he, to me, deserves the most improved player. Executive Year, I'm giving it to Suns GM Ryan McDonald. The Suns were projected to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. And the fact that even though they didn't get into the playoffs, the fact that they fought and they was in contention neck and neck almost at the end of the season with the Memphis Grizzlies for a playoff spot, I mean, great moves by Ryan McDonald. He got Eric Bledsoe, Gordon Dragic. He traded some players. He traded Louis Scola away, got over Gerald Green, and Gerald Green's been balling. Just great moves for him. Rookie of the year, it was getting kind of close with Victor Oladipo, but Michael Carter Williams to me is still Rookie of the Year. So those are my awards.
Brandon, I love it, but Sixth Man of the Year, I'm going to give it to Taj Gibson. I think he deserves it because the man is pretty much a starter to me.
Yeah, but Jamal Crawford is the starter himself too, pretty much on that team. He comes in and he gets buckets though. I would have gave it to Taj, but I think he kind of tailed off while Jamal Crawford is revving it up and still staying steady like he ain't missing a beat. But let's get into the playoff picture. With that, the seeding's not set yet. The Pacers are going to play the Hawks. I feel like Pacers, even though they're having their troubles and people say, oh, they might get bounced out in the first round, I feel like this game, or the series, matter of fact, could go 6 games. Maybe the Hawks can take 1 or 2 games, but I still got the Pacers taking that. Besides that, there's no other matchups that's really set. Like Brooklyn, they said that they're resting their players because now they're trying to get that 6th seed so they can probably play Toronto. They want to play Toronto. They want to avoid the Bulls. They want to play Toronto so it's easy for them to advance down the line. And the Bulls actually trying to get that 3rd seed. But if you get that 4th seed with Washington, I like that matchup for the Bulls. And then I actually like Brooklyn's matchup with Toronto. And then Miami would probably take the Bobcats or whatever. We don't know what that. Just Miami's winning that. Whoever Miami face, I feel like they're winning that. In the West, it's 2 matchups that's already set. We got the Rockets and the Blazers. That's going to be a great matchup. But I'm going to probably take the Rockets. Because, I don't know, I'm just not really a full believer on the Blazers yet. I'm just not. Like, injuries, I'm still not believing in that team. I feel like they've done a great job, but I feel like they're going to flame out in the first round against the Rockets. Clips and the Warriors, to me, out of all the matchups, that's my favorite matchup because I'm going with the Clippers, by the way, but, man, Steph Curry is about to just light them up. But they got some news because Andrew Bogut is hurt, so that could kind of mess up their chances. So I got the Clips in that one. Man, Oklahoma and San Antonio, they're either going to play Memphis or Dallas. If I'm Oklahoma, I want to play Dallas. You're not ready for Memphis. You're not ready for Mark Gasol and Zach Randolph, Mike Conley. You're not ready for them boys. And I feel like the Spurs probably match up better with Memphis. I don't think the Spurs really care who they face, if it's Dallas or Memphis. But Oklahoma City, I think they want to avoid Memphis.
Yeah, I think overall, like, with it being said, who's coming out the West to me, I'm really a big believer in the Clips. I know you said you wasn't, but I'm a huge believer in the Clips.
I mean, the Clips are good, but I still think they need, when it's a half-court game and they need easy buckets, Blake Griffin, to me, I feel like is going to do what he can, but they need more. They need more front-court help. That's just what I think. Next quarter. All right, it's tool time, and I'm about to fix up some leagues. And there's 4 leagues in particular. We got the NBA, NFL, MLB, and the NCAA. I'm going to start off in the NBA, and I'm going to fix that. If I'm commissioner, I'm going to shorten the season to 58 games. You know, I know owners going to hate me for that because they, more games mean more money. But if you shorten it, it's a better product. That means each team will play every other team twice. I feel like that's perfect. Better competition. No more divisions. I'm tired of that East and West and divisions because then you got teams that really, who didn't make the playoffs in the West, are better than like half the teams in the East. And I'm just tired of that. I understand for parity reasons, but we need to get rid of that. So just the top 16 teams make the playoffs. So that means you have the number 1 seed taking on the number 16 seed. I feel like that's better. And then with it being no conference, how about having the 24 best players for the All-Star game? So then you got to worry about, you got to pick this player for the East and the West, and then you ain't got to worry about who got snubbed. It's just the 24 best players. And then have like maybe Charles Barkley or Shaq or somebody like pick. So it'd be like a pickup game. Like, I want him. Give me LeBron. Give me Kevin Durant. Then I'll take Anthony Davis. I feel like that works. Then put the All-Star game in Vegas. I feel like that's dope. And then also, I think each NBA team should have an MBDL team. So they have their own minor league team. In the NFL, how I'm going to fix that? Let's move the PAT back 25 yards. So it make it more difficult for the kickers. Because when the kickers hit that extra point, it's a given almost. Very rare if they miss. More competition. Also, let's expand the playoffs to 8 teams in each division. So, which, that better product, more teams making it, so you ain't got to worry about who missed it. So the teams who should make it. You got those 10-6 teams that end up don't make it, and you feel like, man, that could be a playoff team. So let's just add, one team for each conference for the NFC and the AFC. Just add it. Boom. We good. In the MLB, let's shorten the game. Because one thing about the MLB, it's just too long. So how we can shorten it? Let's shorten the innings. No more 9 innings. Let's make it 7 innings. Because then it's big, 7 innings. Stress people singing. Because we happy because the game is going to be finally over. And we got to wait 3 hours for a game. And also, let's put a time limit on the pitches. Like a shot clock. And if they take too long, it's considered a balk. No more pitchers batting. I'm tired of that. DH for both leagues, not just the AL. Let's do it for the NL too. In the NCAA, I feel like players, if they get injured on the court or the field or wherever, the school should pay for that. And also, I feel like players should get a percentage if the NCAA is like marketing and getting money off of player likeness. So I feel like they should do that. But what you should do is maybe you don't pay them, but you give them that money where they can make that money off their likeness and put it at a certain cap. Now, if they do something illegal, then you could end up suing the player and get that money back since they did something illegal and not, punish the school. Because you had like Reggie Bush who kind of cheated the system and the coach got away too. And then the school gets punished while Reggie Bush and Pete Carroll don't get no punishment at all. But now other kids have to deal with that. Like, that's not their fault. They didn't do nothing. It's more things I want to talk about with 2 Time. I'm probably going to type an article about how to fix each league. And I'm probably going to say certain these things and add more. So I'm going to put that on my Tumblr page probably in the near future. Halftime here. We're going to talk about movies that don't deserve a sequel. And the reason why I'm saying that is because Hunter House 2 is coming out this Friday. And I was kind of shocked by it because I don't think that movie deserves a sequel. I didn't even think it deserved its first movie in the first place. But I got Denea here. I got Mike here. So we're going to talk about what movies don't deserve a sequel. Denea, what's your movie?
I got Tremors 2, Salem's Lot, Ocean's 12, The Lion King, Garfield. Any Disney movie doesn't need a remake. A sequel.
Out of those movies you just said, I didn't even know half those movies in the beginning. Honestly.
Jaws, Anaconda. There's a lot.
Those
Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, I don't know about that one. But
the same
wait.
story over again.
Are those movies straight to DVD? Because I never heard of those.
No, they're old movies. That's why.
One movie, House Party. I think it's like the 4th one. It was like on Netflix or something like that. I don't think that deserves one at all because it just doesn't make sense. Like, they got like a white kid in it, and it's like for the new generation. I just hate it. It just.
There's also that Triple X movie.
Okay, yeah, I agree with you on that. I don't like the Triple X. Yeah, I agree with you on that too.
Dirty Dancing. They should have left that. That was a classic. You didn't need Havana Nights.
I think y'all might hate me for this one, but I'm not feeling Belly, the second one. I feel like hood classics, let them be hood classics. All right, the NHL playoffs is here, and we about to get into it. And brother don't know much about some hockey. So I got some professional NHL writers to talk to. I got Katie Strong, Joe McDonald, Craig Crunsten, and Pierre LeBrun. I'm talking to them via Skype. And Craig, I'm going to start with you. Tell me about this Ducks and Stars matchup. What makes it so intriguing, and who you got?
It's the thought process is a couple of things. Now, I realize that I'm going out on a limb here, and the Anaheim Ducks is, I just had written last week that they're one of 6 teams that you would consider kind of the powerhouses that can make a legitimate Stanley Cup run. But so at the same time, there's a couple of concerns here with the Ducks, and I'm a little concerned about the goaltending going into the postseason, and I'm a little concerned that they're top heavy up front, and there's a little bit of questions on defense and with some of the young guys that they have there. And I just look at the way that the Dallas Stars have been playing down the stretch here and the brand of hockey, and I think they'll be allowed to play it in this matchup against the Ducks.
I hear you, Craig, but the Ducks are just too good for me. As much as I researched them, I got the Ducks. Tell me about the Colorado Avalanche and the Minnesota Wild. I have the Wild actually winning this one. What's your take on that matchup?
It's not a bad matchup for the Wild. Like, this is a Wild team. When you talk to some of the players, I mean, they certainly weren't satisfied after last year, the way they went out against the Blackhawks. They weren't just happy making the playoffs this year, and I liked the resiliency they showed with the situation in goal, and they found a way. There was plenty of excuses for the Wild not to make the playoffs, and yet that group got in. So no, I can see exactly what you predicted playing out. I picked the Avalanche, though. I just love the way they have the young forwards up front. I mean, you need that in the playoffs. You need that energy and that speed. And I just thought that the goaltending difference between Ilya Bryzgalov and Semyon Varlamov was just too great.
Okay, I want to switch it over to Joe. Joe, the team that I got winning the Stanley Cup is the Boston Bruins. And you know the Bruins really well because you write over there for the Bruins as an NHL writer. Tell me about the Bruins, and am I crazy for not thinking that they got a chance to win it?
Watching these guys whole season, they're just a strong team. I mean, they're physical, they're big, they're strong. Defensively, they're very sound, and obviously with Tuukka Rask between the pipes, I mean, I can't see too many people giving them fits during the Stanley Cup playoffs. But as you all know, my friend, I mean, it's the regular season is one thing, and the Stanley Cup playoffs is a completely different animal. But
tell me about the Penguins. The Penguins, I'm not sold on them. Could you explain? Do you see them even as a threat going in to the Stanley Cup playoffs this year?
I think they could be a very dangerous team, and just based on my experience, when you have teams that are this talented as the Penguins are, and you can also throw in the Bruins. I stepped back for a moment, but a few years ago the Bruins had a great team in 2010, and they were up on the Flyers, and they ended up losing. They were up 3-0, and they ended up losing that series in 7 games, and then the following year they came back and they absolutely destroyed them in the semifinal round and swept them, and I think that motivated the Bruins, moving forward as a team. And I think what the Bruins did to the Penguins last year in the Eastern Conference Finals, sweeping them in 4 games, I think that maybe the Penguins probably haven't forgot about that, and they know that okay, they're built for the regular season, and we saw that with the way that they played this year, and despite everything that they kind of dealt with. But now it's starting an entirely different season, the Stanley Cup playoffs, and I think that they're going to probably go through the Columbus Blue Jackets, not with ease, but I think that they want to start off with a pretty solid statement saying, okay, we're still a dangerous team in this league, especially in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So I think just based on their experience from a year ago and how bad that felt to the Boston Bruins in that fashion, I think that's probably only going to motivate them.
Katie, could you tell me about the Montreal Canadiens? Because they're the only team in Canada right now that's in the playoffs. So what's their mindset going in? And tell me about the goaltender Price, just about their overall mindset.
Yeah, I think this is, obviously the Olympics goes a long way in terms of establishing himself as someone that can play and perform on the big stage. But this is the next step he's got to take to sort of exercise those demons, even though there were, the injuries last year that he was dealing with.
Pierre, the most intriguing playoff matchup to me, you could say I'm biased, is the Chicago Blackhawks and the St. Louis Blues. Both of these teams are dinged up. Who do you have taking it? I'm kind of going with the Blues. Even though they've been rocky, I think the Blackhawks, it's like glass half full for them. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not with much confidence. Again, I think it's like the Kings and the Sharks. The team there's going to be a team going home after one round that everyone that follows the game believes is among the top 7 teams in the National Hockey League. That's going to be the case between San Jose, LA. That's going to be the case between Chicago and St. Louis. I took the Hawks because what I've seen from the Blues over the last 2 weeks of the regular season scared the heck out of me. That really is the difference to me, is that the defending Cup champs, I just think they can go back to the well and find their mojo, and I don't know what to make about the Blues anymore. A month ago, I thought they were going to be my Cup pick, but I just have not liked at all what I've seen, over the final couple of weeks, even though they were very much injured. I just didn't like the way they reacted to it.
I want to thank y'all all for tuning in via Skype with me, man. I really appreciate y'all giving me y'all input. It's really helped me on this NHL. Y'all really helped me see the bigger picture. So thanks y'all for y'all support. It's time for my favorite segment, Your Issues, when you send us questions via Twitter at this BS show, and I answer it right here on the segment. Let's start off with at real2_me. He said, if you are the ESPYs, why would you pick Drake? Put LOL underneath that. Like, why you hating?
I definitely feel like that person's hating on Drake. People hate on Drake a lot because he sings songs. The man talented, man. They need to quit hating.
I definitely agree with you, Mike. Like, I feel like they are hating hard. Drake was funny. Did you see his Saturday Night Live skit? Like, the man got comedy. The man used to act before he rapped. I feel like it's a great pick. I'm excited to see what he do. It actually makes me want to tune into the ESPYs, and it's going to get a younger audience to actually watch the ESPYs too. So I like that pick. My homie, the Jazz Man, 2885 said, how do you feel about Johnny Manziel meeting with all these teams? And how would he be as a franchise QB? Well, I know he did really good at the Wonderlic test scores, so he has a very high IQ. I feel like a team that picks him, you got to know what his strengths are and work around the strengths. Same how the Broncos did for Tim Tebow. Same how the Redskins did for RG3. That's what you got to do. If you're going to take Johnny Manziel and put him in a completely different system and just it's the coach's way, you got to fit around him. I feel like Johnny Manziel is going to be good. It depends on what team picks him and what type of system they're going to run with it. That's going to be the key to me. If he's with a system that works around him, I feel like Johnny Manziel can be great. If he's going to be with a team that system doesn't fit him, it's not going to work. Next one. Creep MF. What the? Said, are you going to watch AJ McCarron and Catherine Webb's reality show? They're getting married. And they got a reality show. I'm not going to watch that. He also goes on to ask, what's your favorite reality show? My favorite reality show is the NBA, NFL, sports, man. It's the greatest reality show of all time. That's mine. Like, come on, man. But if I had to pick another one, I mean, I like Hardcore Pond when I get a chance. But mostly, man, I'm watching sports all day, every day. That's just me. Before I get up out of here, man, I want to give out my BS play of the game. It goes to Portland Trailblazers point guard Damian Lillard. He just signed the third biggest shoe deal with Adidas behind Derrick Rose and LeBron James. But I'm glad that he signed this deal. A lot of people hating because they're like, we don't know who he is. He's in a small market. But actually, that's why I like it. Because it shows that you could be in a small market and still get endorsements and TV time. Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant. I love it. So you don't always have to go to these big cities like New York, Chicago, Miami. Like, I like that. So I feel like that's a great move for Damian Lillard. Great move by Adidas. I like it. $100 million, boy. That's something else. Hopefully, you better hope your investment works. My Fuller Bull goes to new Buffalo Bills linebacker, Brandon Spikes. Reason why he, is not a Patriots no more. He's mad. He said he signed with the Bills because he could put 2 L's in the Patriots column. Obviously, he got some bad blood, but he tweeted 4 years as a slave. Now, come on, Brandon Spikes. Slaves didn't even get paid. Last time I checked, you made over $3 million in your 4 years there. So don't feed me BS and call it sugar grits. Don't pee on me and tell me it's raining. Like these sayings I got.
I'm like trying to hold my laughter, man, because you crazy right now.
I know, man. I'm trying over here. Go on my Twitter page. It's at This BS Show. Send me your questions so I can answer it on your ish. Go on my Tumblr page, The Fry Guy, bs.tumblr.com. Go in there. We got some UConn themed Kobe 9s. You want to see the cost of MLB proposals, see how much it costs? We got the price for every team. If you want to propose at an MLB game, we got that price. Also, Pokemon. You got to catch them all. Used to love that growing up. Used to try to steal Pokemon cards from people because I heard they was worth a lot of money. But we got Pokemon themed NBA logos. Go in there and check that out. Also, the Miami Hurricane players dancing for them jerseys. You got to check that out as well. I want to thank my man Mike for being here. Denea, the Game Family, Devin, Jay Hood, Lawrence Holmes. Y'all for listening to my show and give me y'all feedback. I appreciate it. Everybody who listens, I love y'all all, man. And remember, life is a game. So play hard all 4 quarters. This has been another episode of This BS Podcast Show. I'm your host, The Fry Guy. 2 fingers in the air. Peace. Man, let's go get some Chinese food after this, dog. I'm hungry.
Bye-bye. Trip. I'm out of here anyway. Peace out.